Hello, we are going to have a lesson on the topic of the hardening of the heart is an opportunity for scent. You can ask us questions on cup.tv and selected questions will be asked during the lesson. A lesson on the topic of the hardening of the heart is an opportunity for scent.
We, along with you, are going over elements, parts, constituent parts, components of our work, the work of the Lord, which is composed of several ways and manners. And the important one among them is the hardening of the heart. It's not understood. It cannot be understood by a regular person. When I study some wisdom, or I go into a new job, new workplace to understand how to do it, so I understand that it'll be difficult for me. I'll need to study, to delve into it, to overcome, to exert. But together with that, I think that I will progressively understand more, feel more of it, that I'll somehow participate more, be closer to the subject matter. And that's how it works for us in this world. A person goes to learn medicine, let's say, thousands and thousands of particular details and names and terms, such names that you can't even remember, and laws that exists in our system, in our bodily system. There's nearly nothing rational about it, logical, that this happens because of that and that because of this. It's so many things that have to be remembered, and that's it, just remembered. We don't know the natural system from within. We just study it externally, study its responses, and so that's how it is. But nevertheless, the more we advance with every science, we come to know the various phenomena better. This happens because of that, and that because of this, and then with every previous state somehow helps us in understanding the subsequent state. To study through induction, from past to present to future, there's none as wise as the experienced. But in the spiritual work, these principles don't exist. Every time I feel myself to be lacking everything, having nothing in my understanding, orientation, feeling. Suddenly, I feel as if someone pressed delete on me from within. Everything was erased. And I look at the world and I don't understand what it is, who it is. As it is said about Baal Shem Tov, he forgot the shapes of the letters. And more, and such like. We have tales regarding the Kabbalists. So, the process that we undergo with the wisdom of Kabbalah is a very special one, in that every advancement is actually in growing further apart from the desired state, the erasure of all forces and energies. Sometimes my ego is also erased, and then I just wilt. Sometimes the ego isn't erased, and then I'm shaking with anger at the entire world, and I'm just prepared to burn everything down. And when we go through these states, because they go through our will to receive, which is our entire nature, and I can't remember, but once upon a time it was like this, or it wasn't, maybe. I don't have the rationale, the capacity to make comparisons and to say that there's none as wise as the experience, that I already know all these things, that now it's a game played with me from the heavens, and that I know what to do. No. It's erased, and it's erased entirely. And this is called the hardening of the heart, or the burdening of the heart. All of the understandings, all of the emotions, everything that I had is erased. And this is the spiritual ladder. Each time, this erasure is more meaningful, more significant. And now we have the power of the group. But indeed, it's very difficult for me. It was very difficult for me, I recall. I remember the first time this state happened to me. And exactly, it was in the beginning. After a few months, perhaps, that I was with the Rabash, and I took him to the forest of Ben Shemen, next to Lud. We'd drive there. It was a calm, tranquil place, nice, not many people. Now it's different, of course. You had benches with tables. And I barely got there. I could almost not see the road. It was the first few times where I just lost contact with reality. And I say to him, "What can I do? What will I do?" It's a state where I have nothing left. I don't know where I am. Who am I? What am I doing here? I need some help, some assistance, someone to support me, something. And he says, "Okay, let's sit. Open a bottle of beer." Meanwhile, I'd take 2 bottles of beer, one for him and one for me, and we'd sit. So he got out some pieces of paper from his pocket. These were pieces of paper where we were making the book of Pri Chacham back then. So he opened that and he says, "Oh, this is exactly for you." And he read to me exactly the first page of the book, from the article from before and from behind. Thou hast hemmed me in concealment and in revelation. That's how it's, and so on. I couldn't understand a word. And I looked at him. I couldn't make the connection between what's happening with me, and I couldn't even hear. I was just blocked up. My ears, my mind, my head, everything. And so such states went by. Many, of course. I haven't counted them. And you as well. Sometimes it's more, sometimes it's less. We know that sometimes we are in such states where we don't, well, it's not like Baal Shem Tov at his level, where he'd completely lose his ability to read the alphabet even. But nevertheless, in these states, we cannot determine anything. to perform any action, we just lose our orientation in reality, because a new will to receive is disclosed, another layer, new layer. And it covers everything up, because the will to receive is greater when it's revealed than what are all those things you learned before? You're in them, you're proficient with that. No, it's the new ego. It doesn't allow you to do anything rationally with your mind, with your understanding, emotion. No, a person it's as if he got a blow to the head and he's seeing stars in front of his eyes, and that's it, nothing else. He cannot focus, he cannot tie things together, and so on. And one who goes through it, he feels it and he knows. This is our reality, and I hope, I wish we get to the degree of Baal Shem Tov as well, and it's all ahead of us. Reality is reality, and this is how it will occur for certain with each and every one if he truly advances in his own work, if the Creator invokes these situations upon him, especially personally, each one, because each one of Yashar Ke'el of Israel is undergoing very special, intensive care, personalized for him. And then when the new will to receive is revealed, then one feels that he's in a different world, but a dark world, one that is not understood, cannot be felt, and so on. So what do you do? What do you do? First of all, as we learn, if a person goes to prison, he cannot save himself. Only his environment can rescue him. That's the first thing. The second thing is that other than preparing the society, we acquire a habit, and the habit becomes second nature, meaning between our nature, where we operate according to the will, to the desire, the mind, the emotion, in order to receive, and the mind and emotions of bestowing between this world and the next, we have, you could say, the world of habit. The world of habit, where we aren't in the degree of Adam, human, but rather on the degree of beast. This is called a habit. Meaning that I don't know what to do already, and nothing. I'm not working with my reasoning, but my instincts, my habits, they are active, operational, and therefore we need to make use of it. A habit becomes a second nature, so that even in states where I lose orientation, where I lose my control of these states, habit does have its authority, control. We know of the degrees of the exercises with the spies. Let's say, how do you teach spies? Many habits, through many habits, constant habituation, until a person just clothes in a new character and becomes a habit for him, and it's almost impossible to extract him from that. So we need to make use of this as well. A habit means, we mean the habit to interact with the environment, to come to the lesson, to pray occasionally, to read some article before bed as we awaken, and so on. Each one needs to set for himself, but in the society as a whole, it should also be customary that we set some habits for ourselves, and they are called, you'll make for yourselves officers and guards on next to all your gates. And this is very helpful for one in his advancement. Because again, the will to receive, to bestow, when it comes, we go crazy, we go nuts. The will to receive, when it comes, we fall, we wilt. And habit becomes there in the middle. It helps us not to lose ourselves entirely. Meaning, whatever may be, there is a habit which obligates me. I set it, I got used to it. I've grown accustomed to it, and it became second nature. And I sustain that habit, and it sustains me. And there are other more minute details, but the main thing isn't that. The main thing is we need now to learn of the matter of the burdening of the heart, that it comes from us either as a result of good actions that we took, or perhaps even that we didn't. We don't know exactly what we did and what we didn't, but rather, when the Creator wants to promote a person, then He promotes him by disclosing to him the left line, a new will to receive. And one doesn't see this as advancement, but rather as decline. And not that he's succeeding, but rather to the contrary, there's no success here whatsoever. And this can come in various ways. I'd divide it into a few main ones. Categorize it, rather. So, of course, in the will, the will vanishes. In the mind, also, it doesn't work so much. There's great confusion. One doesn't know what's happening in his world. He cannot focus, of course, on the study, or neither in his emotions nor his understanding. He doesn't know, of course, where it's coming from at that time. Only the society can save him. Yes? And, well, we will speak of it more. The main thing is, in any case, that the society as a whole will understand that advancement on behalf of the Creator is when He opens for you another part of Pharaoh and another part of Pharaoh, and by so doing He promotes you. And come to Pharaoh because I've burdened his heart. Come to Pharaoh because I've hardened his heart. And every time with such incursions. And so, we should have this down as a habit, although it doesn't help so much. But other than the person, he also has his society, and then when he falls, the society works. And when he has strength, he must fill the society up with everything that he can. And so it works intermittently. Either he has a minus and the environment is a plus, or he has a plus and the environment is a minus, relatively speaking. So they work together, but constantly rising, because the will to receive is revealed in a more cruel, in a harsher manner each time. So far, clear, right? I don't see anything new here. Well, so let's go to the text.
We'll read excerpt number 1 from Shammari 172, the matter of preventions and delays. All the preventions and delays that appear before our eyes are but a form of nearing. The Creator wants to bring us closer. And all those preventions bring us only nearing, since without them we would have no possibility of approaching Him. This is so because by nature there is no greater distance, as we are made of pure matter, while the Creator is higher than high. Only when one begins to come nearer does he begin to feel the distance between us. And any prevention one overcomes brings the way closer for that person. This is so because one grows accustomed to moving on a line of growing farther. Hence, whenever one feels that he is distant, it does not induce any change in the process, since he knew in advance that he is moving on a line of growing farther, since this is the truth, that there are not enough words to describe the distance between us and the Creator. Hence, every time he feels that distance to a greater extent than he thought, it causes him no contention, no anger.
Yes.
There's a question, the custom makes you lose the taste of anything. So what do we do about it? If you get accustomed to something, there's no taste in it. So what do you do about that?
What do you grow accustomed to?
This is what he writes.
What he writes. I'm asking you. What are you asking about?
If you have a habit, if you get accustomed, if you keep doing the same thing, then you lose the taste in that.
Yes.
What do you do about that?
You don't do nothing about it. So you lose the flavor of it, and you need to work on having that flavor return to increase the greatness of the Creator and the greatness of the goal.
Another question from Jerusalem. What do we need to learn from the fact that there is forgetfulness of what we studied?
These questions aren't according to what we're learning now. Forgetfulness in the study doesn't worry me at all. There are all sorts of wise people sending me all sorts of questions. What happens with Arichampin, Zarapin, and so on? I don't even want to answer. It's just wise at night, it's called. He has darkness at night, but he wants to be smart about it and wise. He has nothing. These Jerusalem sages, I'm not interested in bringing up. It's called his knowledge is greater than his deeds.
There's a question from the Ukraine, from Alexander. How do we get out of burden of blaming the Creator in the burdening of the heart? Balasuram writes that there's nothing worse than blaming the Creator.
Yes, correct. One complains about the Creator, yes. So how to come out of that? Again, to constantly think of why and from where do you receive the burdening of the heart. So, of course, there's none else besides Him. It's from the Creator. And why do you receive it? You get the burdening of the heart, specifically according to you having done something good previously. And you've mustered some strength, perhaps not yet powers of bestowal, but you've made some efforts in that direction. And now, according to these efforts, you deserve to receive an increased, magnified will to receive, a little bit bigger than previously, so that with it, you'll be able to rise. Because ascending is done on two legs, left, right. So now the left is magnified for you, so that you can rise by the power of the right, by the power of bestowal. Meaning, you have the fact that one receives the burdening of the heart, and throughout his life, then he feels that the world has darkened for him. This is because he is able now, from this state of darkness, to plead and to ask and to beg for the power to rise, transcend that darkness, and to come to the light. Yes, he's able to do that, because it's given to him precisely according to the exertion he did previously, what he did in the group, and invested in dissemination and so on. All these things enter the plus, the right line, and so the left line is now increased for him. Now he can overcome the left with the right, and then he will have the middle line. Perhaps it won't be immediate spiritual attainment, as the middle line, because it's revealed in the middle line. But regardless, in any case, he's coming closer to that. It's a step forward. Right? Yes.
If I understood correctly this excerpt, he speaks here about re-education of a person. If I got accustomed to being in darkness, in confusion, I want to actually find a stable place. Here he tells you this is actually something good. When these states of distancing come, and the way you explained it before, how is that manifested? This is something that we should respond to in a good way. And this requires new habits.
We can't. During the first moment, I don't know, I don't understand anything, and I cannot agree with it, because the will to receive is my entire nature. And you can see the Baal Shem Tov, he didn't even know where he is and what's going on. Rabbi Shimon, he became Shimon from the marketplace. He also didn't know. There are many such stories, by the way, of the Hasidim. And before the Hasidut, the Hasidic movement, about ascents and descents. Look, in Psalms, how King David, God bless, and suddenly, boom, and then he writes to you, from the depths I've called you, and so on. So, there's no possibility of advancement in any other way. But the problem is just in mustering the strength, assembling support, as it is written, you shall make for yourself officers and guards on all your gates. It's a gate. When you're given a burdening of the heart, it's a gate through which to enter spirituality. So, do you have guards and officers there to make sure you won't run away from the path because of the hardening, the burdening you received now, and that they'll help you.
Is it possible, or do I have to, before I enter spirituality, to create such conditioning where if he says here in such states, I will be able to relate to them very quickly in a positive way, even though I feel bad inside, confusion, darkness?
Okay, so it's clear what can happen here, either me or the Creator or the society. If me and the Creator have such a relationship where I receive darkness from Him, then only the society can help. You have no other factors here. And here, habit also doesn't work. It almost doesn't. Yes, who else?
A friend who experiences for the first time, he's in the beginning of the path and he experiences this feeling of darkness for the first time, what can you tell him? He doesn't have any experience with it yet.
That's what Rabash did for me. He brought out the book, yes? He said, let's have a beer. So we had a beer, a little bit. And he read this article to me, and I didn't understand a thing. I couldn't hear. It's not that I was against or for it, it just didn't enter. He was reading, and I was just gazing at him like this. That's it. What to do? The group can rattle the person in the simplest way. He remains as a beast, right? Barely moving. Take him to some duty, some activity together. This will help. This will help. But not through the intellect, not through his emotional faculties. He's as if dead. No. This is called coercion. No. But rather, through the work, and along with the work, some singing about the greatness of the goal and so on. Something simple, something not so forcing. No, gradually, slowly, and also here we need to be careful about not to spoil, to hasten the time correctly so that he comes out of it quickly, but that he comes out of it and not that we pull him out of there by force or something like that. It needs to be learned, meaning to allow the person, to give him the room, to give him some space of his own.
Moscow.
Раф, вы сказали, что в группе необходимо
Rav,
формировать.
you said that in the group it's necessary to create common habits, shared habits. Do they really need to be shared, or does each friend, each person make for himself his own guards and officers in his gates?
That's his business, whatever he's doing, but he must also be inside of the environment. So what does it mean, an environment? What does it mean, group framework? Tell me. There has to be certain times when you connect, when you talk. You have to have the studies, the awakenings, all kinds of things, and like we have here. But it has to be truly that a person repeats that on a daily basis to some extent. Once, twice a week he does something else. Twice a week, a month or some, he does something else. You must have such habits. Yes. Okay, Moscow?
Нет.
No.
Ну вот, например,
No. Let's say
что-то должно быть обязывающее
should be something that compels each individual, or does the person on his own, does he need to agree with it? Or does the group need to compel the person to agree with it? Some habit that all of the group take together.
I'm surprised by what you're saying, Denis. We've been learning all of these last few days about the covenant, about the commitment, about the fact that a person pledges to establish a covenant with the group, and the group makes a covenant with the person, and it has to be the covenant of salt, and the Creator is in it, and He signs this covenant. What is that? All of this is nothing? What is it for? Only in order to hold us in all kinds of different situations.
Я хочу спросить о границах.
I want to ask about the limits of the group's influence on the person. In a good state, the person says, I agree, I signed the covenant, I will do this and that, I want it to become a habit for me. But after a person falls from that state, and he has this burdening of the heart, he doesn't agree anymore with those things he set for himself. So where are the limits of the group's influence on the person? Where should it influence him? And on the other hand, where should it leave him some room for free choice?
During an ascent, the person should have free choice. During a descent, he doesn't have any free choice. Rather, he has to feel that he is actually falling on the hands of the group. This is how it works. Yes.
There's a question. Why does the Creator arrange for us to awaken from the burning of the hearts through blows and not from the help of the friends?
From the friends? Well, maybe it comes from the friends. Maybe it just comes just like that, and we don't know where from. For each and every one, it is personal. But the Creator has no other possibility to bring a person closer to Him except through the burdening of the heart, through an unpleasant sensation, through blows, unpleasant things that work on the will to receive, and then a person necessarily wants to get rid of the will to receive. He doesn't want to, he just wants to run away from the situation, he wants to get rid of it, until he realizes that this state was caused by the increasing will to receive. Then he wants to get rid of the will to receive. This is a long way until one understands these things, where it stems from and why, and that specifically in this way the Creator is working on him, and how from the fact that the will to receive is awakening in him and giving him that bad feeling, meaning first of all he recognizes the bad, then he realizes, he identifies that this is coming from the increased will to receive. Out of that, he understands that it comes to him from the Creator as personal treatment, and so that he shouldn't run away from the will to receive in order to diminish his sorrow, the blow he got, rather for him to ask of the Creator that he would correct his will to receive so that it would be in order to bestow. And then one advances in a different way, above the will to receive, in faith above reason. There are several stages here. It's not all at once.
Christian Dawson from London is asking, is there a specific reason that after congresses we feel these states of descent?
Yes, we talked about it. I guess he wasn't in the lesson the day before yesterday or yesterday, but we talked about it. We talked about it many times. Specifically after a person has worked hard, after that, he suddenly comes to a state where is the reward for my work? If I'm now feeling worse. That's not usual in our world. Therefore, one has a problem here. He needs to realize that the Creator is bringing closer through a descent. That is, through the revelation of the will to receive, he wants to show the person what is separating between them, between the Creator and that person. The will to receive is separating. Therefore, Pharaoh becomes worse and worse and worse, and stronger, until we have to do something about him. And to do something, it's only to run away.
A friend from Israel is asking, saying, I promised myself that I get up to the morning lesson only in the condition that the Creator gives me the power to...
He's putting conditions before the Creator. That's nice.
Otherwise I can't get up. But only if I feel bad about the environment and other corporeal things.
Why doesn't he ask of the environment?
He says that specifically because of this, I felt the importance of the goal as great power, helping me awaken despite everything. The importance of it all awakened me. So is it a mistake to advance in this manner?
He should try anything. I can't say. Let him try. And also in what he is writing, there are some confusions there about several states. Okay, Itzik, what?
Is it possible to accustom oneself, well, with some inner habits, thoughts, to think of the friends?
But it all goes away. You lose all of it.
I know, but are all these exercises only mechanical, only external?
But if there's a burdening of the heart, that is, you lose your mind and your emotion, then what can you keep? What states? With the help of what would you be able to work? So a person is a beast. He gets up, he does all kinds of actions, but with respect to spirituality, he's completely blocked.
Let's say, to accustom himself to turn to the group in these states.
To turn, for that you must already have some emotional preparation, but you have nothing. One might make such an action. He might come to them where they're sitting and sit next to them like that, so that then they will understand what it's like, who he is right now. But a true burdening of the heart is such that, well, the heart is the ego. It's new ego. It's an addition that is revealed, that was never revealed before. in the form of the shattering. And now it is revealed. So I don't see how it's possible to do anything in that state. No. At first, maybe, yes, because a person is given all kinds of possibilities, like a little child, who feels that he is like a mighty hero and he can do things, and you tell him, wow, that's great, you're so smart, so strong. But later on, in the more advanced states, nah. Only connection in the group. What? Is this Chris? What's happening there? Do you want to ask, Chris?
No.
Well?
Yeah, Rav, I have a question. My question is this. I actually feel after the Congress like I'm in a state of ascent rather than descent. So what is this a sign of?
It's a sign that you received forces from others, and you should now go and advance as much as possible. Study more, read more, connect with everyone. Most importantly, spread the materials. Spread around you as much as possible our materials. And then by that, you will have a basis, a foundation. And I promise you then that in the next Congress, you will come out of it in a form that is far less good than now. If it will be a good Congress, then you'll be sitting afterwards and cry, and you'll have no idea what to do with yourself. And should you even continue on the path? And what are these people doing here? Poor guys. There's some method here which is completely unrealistic, and some more of that. One who studied 20 years ago with us in Bnei Brak, we had this incident when, what was his name? The Gur, yes, the one who ran away. He used to be climbing buildings to clean windows or something, strong guy. And we were sitting there talking about this thing, and the guy jumped up and says, like that? What did he say? That can't be. And he ran away. And before that, he was studying for quite some time. He wasn't a new guy. 2 years at least. And everyone, all of you were in the beginning of the way. And for him, it was it was revealed in such a way that it can't be, it's unrealistic. And it's interesting how he behaved. He jumped from his seat and he ran away from the door, and we haven't seen him since. This is a spiritual action. This is how it works on a person. Is it clear to you, Choka? So watch out. It can happen any moment. I'm telling you, really seriously, any moment. There are some who will move away slowly, and they have all kinds of reasons and justifications. Maybe there's a nicer place that is more suitable or more true, or maybe I'm this way or that way. But there are such where truly, and in truth, I didn't feel back then, as much as I remember it now, that I opened up a bit more or something. Yes.
So one needs to walk on a line of growing further apart. One needs to walk a line of growing further apart.
I'm quoting
I'm quoting Balasulam. This is so because one grows accustomed to moving on a line of growing further away.
He's getting used to it, but not that he's walking on this path of growing farther. I'm not capable of this by my nature. I want to get closer. I want to get closer to the Creator. When I want to get closer, but I realize that it's against my desire, and I perform all kinds of actions in order to overcome it and everything, then I begin to get from the Creator help in that He is disclosing to me a layer after a layer of the will to receive. And in one of those layers, bit by bit, let's say, we reach a certain threshold, a certain height, where if I will be above this will to receive, already I'll start discovering the will to bestow.
So what's the intention here? What is he writing here? That you need to grow accustomed to moving on a line of growing farther, to know ahead of time that he's walking that line?
Yes. But it's impossible to want it, only kind of in general. To perform any kinds of actions on oneself except for actions of preparation, there are none. And that's what you have to do.
How is it possible in that distance, in that growing distance, to know when it's good or not good, where it crosses a threshold where you need to watch out?
We never walk. I mean, you're continuing what you said before, and I disagree with you. We are not walking on a path of moving away, growing farther. I always want to come closer to the Creator. The fact that He increases the will to receive in me, that He is showing me, disclosing to me the will to receive, layer after layer, more and more, that it is as if He's moving me away from Him, that is the left line. And each time over this distancing, I need to make corrections so that it will be in order to bestow, so that I will be above this distancing. This is my work, but it's not that I can't expect or look forward to this distancing.
No, I don't want to expect that, anticipate that distancing. I want to ask about the situation itself, when you feel it.
Yes, it comes from the Creator.
So there's this distancing that's beneficial, that's good, that's part of the path.
It depends on the person, if it's effective or not, or beneficial.
So I'm asking about that. So how to turn these distancings into beneficial ones, and not to get to a place where this distancing really grows a person to drift away until it drifts away from the path altogether.
That depends on the person, on the environment. There's nothing you can do about it. It is a problem. There are people who make that calculation. Here it could be good, here it could be less good, this way, that way. I only made one calculation. How can I make myself stronger? So I'll sit and write books. So I'll collect all kinds of things. So I'll make tapes. I'll write in all of my books whatever Rabash said next to each and every word. All kinds of things. The most important is to somehow strengthen myself through all kinds of connections, of ties. That's it. And of course, a person knows in advance that soon, in a minute, it will be there'll be a greater and greater burdening of the heart. So he has to prepare himself in advance through connection with the friends. What can you do? When a person feels that he's growing older, he prepares insurance, some health medical plan. People who go to some task, they insure themselves, they do all kinds of things. That's a must. And here, we only have the group. There is no more. It's the same system in which I have to, through the will to receive, that the Creator is constantly increasing in me, I have to be absorbed in it. It's actually something quite simple to integrate, to be included in the group. That's it. But the burdening of the heart must happen. And if it doesn't happen, that's not good. I remember how Rabash would look at me, and I was seemingly crying before him. I was telling him, help me, look, I'm incapable of doing anything. Like that. I'm not a human being even. I'm nothing. I have no emotion, no mind. I can't overcome myself. I'm not interested in anything. And he was saying, yes, I understand. You now want to get a sleeping pill for, let's say, a month. That would be good. Right? Right. And it was for him also. For him, in his degree also. Yes, until the end of correction. You are entering a process. Well, there are great changes there from one degree to another, but the work is the same work. The building of the heart through the increasing of the will to receive, the increasing of the ego, when a person doesn't even want anything. He just wants to go back and run away, and he curses everything, and he thinks that maybe he can change something in his life, but here, the support of the group is what can hold him, because he has never been in this new will to receive, and he can't control it. He can't even understand what is happening to him. With all of the wise stuff he had before, he thought he was mighty strong. That was in the previous layer of the will to receive. In the new layer, which is greater, he has no control. Therefore, do not believe in yourself until the day you die. That's how it is. There is none wise as the experienced one. What I've been through, I can tell you about it, as if I'm a hero. I'm not a hero. I know exactly what it's like. I'm telling you, but what we haven't yet been through, what I have not yet been through, I have no promise in regarding anything. But I have to get up, I have to give the lesson, then go to have a walk. I have to have that obligation, that I have to go and have that walk with my wife, then come back, have breakfast, sleep for like 2 hours, then begin my day, shootings in the studio, and write all kinds of things on the Twitter and on Facebook, etc. Then there's more shooting, and then till the evening lesson, I read something and do something by myself. I'm telling you, it's a must to always be in that all the time. Just fill it up. And it's very important if you also engage in teaching, so that each one of you would have a group or some people or something that is obligating him. Yes.
So, in the text we've read, he says that one needs to accustom himself in such a way where the process is not changed. So, I don't remember the words exactly. What's the intention? And the first lines there.
All the preventions and delays that appear before our eyes are but a form of nearing. That is, it's the opposite, not rejection, but actually coming closer. The Creator wants to bring us closer. And all these preventions bring us only nearing, since without them we will have no possibility of approaching Him. By what can He bring you closer? He is showing you how far you are from Him, each time more and more. And by that you have no choice, so you have to come closer. So...
Okay, but later he continues and says that despite it doesn't feel a change in the process.
It's like a dance, like they say, how they dance before the bride, or like a tango. It has to happen this way. Otherwise, all of the emotions, all the understandings, they're only about existing or non-existing, coming closer or moving away, understanding or lack of understanding, light and darkness. How else could it be? So when He gives us this place of darkness, the gap, the distance between us, He increases the distance between us, Now, what does he tell you? Now, if you come closer to me, there will be a distance between us, between this the distancing and coming closer, and that is the sensation. You will have a sensation as a result of both of them. You can't have a feeling just out of good or bad separately. It's because of the gap between them. Next time he'll give you an even greater gap, and you will have to invest even greater forces in order to come closer. Accordingly, you will have an even greater sensation. Until, according to his amplitude, more and more and more, this is how it is with the ascents and descents, until from Shimon from the marketplace, you reach the end of correction.
Okay, right. So you undergo change here. So what does he mean by saying that it does not induce any change?
That there would not be any change, meaning a person should try that all of these forms that he's going through will not influence him in his path, in his direction, in his tendency. He should try. Of course, he won't succeed, but one has to try. He has to prepare himself in advance. The group, his work, most importantly, is teaching, I'm telling you. Teaching. That is, to teach someone to write something, to create things. It's like children in the family. You're a bit sick or you feel bad or something else, but you have to get up and take care of them. This is how it is in dissemination.
Okay, so how does it work with the fact that all of the distancing, he grows such a will to receive for you that swallows you up?
That has to be this way.
So how does it influence more?
There has to be this point of disconnection, but not more than, as it says, as if coerced by the devil. It's like a sting, in short, but it has to be there. It has to be. In other words, all the way to the end. Later on, we will learn how by that you're actually correcting the stony heart.
All right, but this forces you to engage with that will to receive that's now opened up. It's not that it opened and that's it, it goes away. No, it's opened up and it exists, it's there, it becomes your reality.
But on top of it, you now begin to come closer. Read number 2. Let's move on, and we need to hear a few of those. There's a lot of it.
So, excerpt number 2 from the article Lishma and Lo Lishma by Rabash. A person who wishes to walk on the path of bestowal must understand that from above he is given special treatment by being lowered from the previous state so that he would begin to really contemplate the goal, meaning what is required of man and what man wants the Creator to give him.
Indeed, what's between them? Not the way it seems to the person, but what should he really base himself on?
But when he is in a state of ascent, when he has desire for the Torah and mitzvot, commandments, he has no need to worry about spirituality. Instead, he sees that he will stay this way his whole life because he is happy this way. It therefore follows that the descent he has received is for his own good, meaning that he is receiving special treatment by being lowered from his state where he thought that he had some wholeness.
A person wants rest. He wants to feel good, for things to be sweet. He wants to hide in some warm corner. The moment you take him out of there, he feels bad. Whatever you say, it could be the mightiest hero. There is no hero in spirituality. It's all just, the will to receive is in the hands of the Creator. Therefore, we have to try to understand that our work is not by us overcoming, rather allowing the light to correct us. That is the main problem, because the person thinks that it is upon him to do something. It's upon me to do nothing other than one thing. that the light will come and correct me. Where here can I help him to open myself up so that he will perform the correction? This is the only thing I need to do. Not that I do the correction. Next.
This is apparent from his agreement to remain in the current state his whole life.
This is nature.
But now that he sees that he is far from spirituality, he begins to think, what is really required of me? What is upon me to do? What is the purpose I should achieve?
If the hardening of the heart didn't come, this new desire to receive that brought me down from my state, I would stay like that all the time, because I was in the state of an animal. It feels good. Another day, another article, another page from Tess, and that's how we continue. Thank God, every day. Rather specifically by the revelation of the new will to receive, and a person receives a blow like a sack that fell on his head, and he can't recuperate. This specifically takes him out of the habit. And
he sees that he has no power to work and finds himself in a state of between heaven and earth. Then, man's only strengthening is that only the Creator can help.
meaning, how does it grow stronger? By saying that my state is so special, so bad, so out of my control, and only the Creator can help me.
But by himself, he is doomed. It was said about this, yet those who hope for the Lord will gain new strength, meaning those people who hope for the Creator. This means that they who see that there is no one else in the world who can help them regain strength each time. It follows that this descent is actually an ascent, meaning that this descent that they feel allows them to rise in degree, since there is no light without a kli.
Everything the Creator gave him now, specifically this great descent, feeling despaired and hopeless and life is worthless and he doesn't know what to do with himself, this is only in order to bring him closer. That's it. Because there's no light without a kli. So we need vessels. Vessels is deficiencies. When you have a great deficiency, the Creator begins to fill them. For the time being, our deficiencies are tiny. We need to constantly grow them more and more and more, until you'll be able to fill them with the light of nefesh of nefesh. Clear?
You describe a very dramatical state of the burning of the heart. You remember nothing, you know nothing.
There are many people who are in such states. They are inexperienced, nothing to do with it. They're like little children, you know. A child, something happens to him, he cries as if it's the end of the world. You know, a moment later it's going to pass and he's going to laugh. But that's how it is. It all depends on the degree of the ego, the small ego that's revealed. But if a man like you is crying, this is a bit more serious, right? In the eyes of humanity. If I look at you, when you're crying, I look at you also like a child, like at a child. But it's going to pass in a little bit. And this is how it is each time. So we need only social strengthening.
If a student on a path for a few years and is not aware that he accepts such a state upon himself, it means that he didn't see a good sign yet?
A good sign means that the Creator appears to him.
But Leo asked about a beginner, and you said that you were in such a state after only a few months when you were with Rabash.
No, what do you mean? I saw that I'm empty. I have nothing.
So I'm asking, if someone doesn't reach such a dramatical state yet, is there a flaw in his work?
First of all, before I came to Rabash, I was studying for 4 years. Oh, for many years, rather. It's not that I fell onto him and I started to feel bad the next day.
Because it could be that the group, and all the good habits we had acquired here throughout the years irons those ascents and descents a little bit and don't allow them reaching such a dramatical state, which is essential along the way.
The dramatic state can come only when you create such supporters so that next time you will not fall. And then you'll be given a state that's much more serious, so you would fall. Clear?
Yes. And what's the difference between that state of the recognition of ego, that dramatic state, to be swept away by the currents of life?
There's a big difference. The force of movement or momentum of a person and a will to receive, we want to flow smoothly, quietly, for nothing to happen. In this, we are looking at other people around us. They have a prayer in the morning, in the evening, in the lunch. In the midday, in the evening. They have a daily schedule. They know what to do. They have various blessings. This is regular Judaism. Religious Judaism is helping them greatly to be in the currents of life. It gives them a framework. We can't keep such a framework, although it's worthwhile for us to have it, but we can't keep it. We constantly want to run away from it, break through it. But we will always receive blows, slaps across the face, and we'll never know what to do with them until you depend completely on the friends, and through the friends the Creator that's inside of them, and only in this way you can come out. Gradually. The entire process of the hardening of the heart in Egypt and all that, it's only when we are facing the Creator, facing Pharaoh, and we want to have no connection with him, and we're ready to rise above the Pharaoh in everything. This is the meaning of this Exodus. I rise above him, above all the evil that's revealed, and I don't want to use him at all, in any way. This means that I'm ready for the Exodus. Peter?
Великих любимых один из Москвы, другой из Питера, вот, и они довольно долго занимаются, лет 5-10 кабалой, и вот они...
There are friends who have been working for a long time now, 10-15 years, and they met and there are some veterans, friends who met this lady, and they stopped studying Kabbalah actively. Is this the burning of the heart, and what to do in such a case?
I understand there were men who studied seriously, strongly, met women, each one of them, and she weakened them to such an extent until they left the path. Of course, it's possible. A man cannot tempt a woman to study Kabbalah, but a woman can either pull a person into or away from the wisdom of Kabbalah. Absolutely. So what is he asking about it?
He's asking if this is the burning of the heart and what to do in such a case.
No, what heart? I would tell him. Maybe in Peter it's called a heart.
As you describe it, we will go through such burning of the hearts and such things, such states that will bring us closer to the Creator. How can we hasten such states?
Identify the hardening, accelerate only through good actions. Constantly be drawn to the good, never engage in the bad. Constantly good, 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 and you'll see how much bad and bad and bad will come to you. But it will appear quickly, and you'll be able to rise above it and work in 3 lines, not in the right or the left, right and the left, right and the left. This is exhausting. But when you begin to arrange it and connect it to a 3rd line, the middle line, then you'll begin to build the middle line. This is called Adam, the man, or the Creator. It's the degree of equivalence with the Creator, the middle line. You're using the will to receive, the left, and the will to bestow, the right. In this way, you'll begin to advance. That's it. Kiev?
У нас, если можно, 2 вопроса. Один от зеленого, один от красного.
We have 2 questions.
Огромный пример для всех нас. Очень последовательный.
It's a great example for all of us. It's very organized, very persistent, very disciplined. How an undisciplined, unpersistent person who cannot build a schedule and stick to it. Like, I tell myself I have to do this and that, disseminate, have Zoom meetings, start reading something, and then I start reading something about the history of India and forget all about it. So how to come closer to your ability to organize yourself, your responsibility?
If you would know how much strength it costs you, we wouldn't say it like that. It's a struggle. Other than that, responsibility. Do you have students? If no, what did I just say today a few times? Each one must have a group. And towards this group, I'm constantly in preparation and caring for them. It's a must. It organizes a person a great deal. Now, why am I telling you about dissemination? First of all, it's a must, and you give contentment to the Creator through that. Because you reveal His name throughout the world, but dissemination forces you to work and be included with the audience and constantly provide them with things. And I wake up at night. There are a few things I do before the lesson. Typically, I might put a few tweets on Twitter. Have such obligations, such commitment. This will help you. And you have to do it. It's a must. So what's the problem?
Как я понял, драматическая ситуация – это когда ты...
As I understand, a dramatic state is when you have supporters for yourself not to fall, but nonetheless you fall. So in that case, with respect to what it's considered a dramatic state, considering
I don't
my
see anything dramatic. The Creator can do whatever He wants. It's His business. I don't get into His business. I know that I have my business. I have to take care of a group. I have to tape different programs. I have to give the world the method of correction. I work on myself. That's it. The fact that by that I intend to do it for Him and so on. Okay, but I'm constantly engaged in that. It keeps me busy. I try to be busy doing these things. I have a schedule. What I do each and every day, and not only each and every day. I know what I'm going to do from now 2019 didn't even start. I'm already starting to feel it until January 2020. That's how it is. Start being a bit more responsible for the state of the world, the state of the group, the friends, your state. That's how it should be. A bit more mature. What can we do? You want to be correctors, partners, please. The Creator is not going to make the actions in this world, only through us. Okay, we had Kiev, Peter, everything, Almata. Where's the fat guy?
No. כן, תעשה ככה על הבטן.
Yeah, you can pat your belly.
When you're in such a state of helplessness, when you even regret that you learn all that, so how to be grateful for that state? How to make it happen?
I don't remember where it's written, but Rabash writes in a few places, a man cannot receive blows and say how pleasant it is, how much I love you, unless instead of blows he feels caresses. And it's the same. All depends on the attitude of a person, his awareness. We say that the angel of death becomes a holy angel instead of a blow and embrace. Argentina.
לא שומעים.
Can hear you.
גיל, לא שומעים?
Can hear?
I have his question. Okay, now we can hear him. I have Fabrizio's question. He's asking, to awaken the dawn, is it a way to prevent the descents?
To shorten? No. I pay attention only to my attitude towards what the Creator is taking me through. Only my attitude. Such states pass over me, other states, like Rabbi Akiva, the waves in the ocean. This kind of wave, this kind of wave. Just lower your head and accept everything is coming from the force that is good, who does good. Until you will truly begin to feel with those waves the sunlight, pleasant wind, until it will appear in the clothing of Hasadim. That's it. Only our attitude towards what's happening. God forbid, we don't want to change what is coming to us. Rather, only how we respond to it. That it will be clothed in a screen, restriction, reflected light. Only in this way. That's how we want it to be.
I heard you say that everyone should have a group that he can teach and engage in teaching.
It helps greatly. It gives you, places an obligation on you. You commit to someone because in the group, I see that you don't feel like you are obligated to hold the group in a high state. Meaning, if you have such an attitude towards the group, then you're even exempt from teaching. Well, not entirely, and not from dissemination in general, because it enlivens you, it builds you, but the attitude towards the group, I don't see enough of it here. It's like that. You don't understand that by that you're building a spiritual parzuf. The fact that we speak about it so much, and still it's not absorbed. I have nothing else in this life. Why am I in this world? To build a spiritual pursuit called neshama, a soul. Who am I building it with? With this 10, not this 10, another 10. Doesn't matter. That's what we have to do. And specifically on that, we don't pay attention. Only around.
It sounds as if I can gather a 10 from the street and start teaching them?
No, this doesn't replace your 10. I'm saying that you take the group and then you take care of them, even if you're in a sense, certain disconnection from reality. Nevertheless, you have to come to them, you have to give them lessons, you have to take care of them, and that's what organizes you.
What does it mean? Without training, without nothing, without being qualified?
No, I'm not saying without.
But it sounds this way.
No, it doesn't sound like that. I'm talking to people who are here for years, and they need all to be working in teaching.
But not everyone.
Not you. Calm down.
Also with new students so far, well, not new, but those states happen. How can we... Well, I observed from you two things throughout the years, everything except for leave and annulment in such a time to shut up inside, although questions awaken.
But we're now coming to such states where this is not enough. Because first, earlier, you could calm yourself down personally, individually, but now if the group won't help you, you won't be able to overcome. You'll stay, you will not run away, you'll somehow swallow that bad state, but you won't be able to rise above it. In order to rise above it today, you need connection with the 10. That's the problem. So that's why it's a must. It's simply a must. There's no... Pay attention to how you come out of the descent of the burning of the heart. You don't want... you don't want anything, you're tired of everything, you don't want the group or Bnei Baruch or anything, I don't know what I'm going to do, anything but here. Right? All those thoughts. To correctly come out of the state without a 10 is impossible. We've entered such states where we must build the 10. That's why only towards the 10 you receive a burdening, a hardening of the heart. Only towards that, meaning you have to realize, actualize the hardening of the heart in the connection with the 10. This is very important. Not your personal work with the Creator. It's not going to do you any good. It's not going to raise you. It's going to help you go through these states, but it's not going to raise you higher. Each time, a hardening of the heart, and you're going up. Hardening of the heart, you're going up. That's the ladder until the end of correction. But each time, they'll add the means for how to come up. A hardening of the heart, a will to receive, a bigger will to receive. How do you rise above it? Not only to equalize yourself with it, to mitigate the state. How do you rise above it? How to use it in order to come closer to bestowal? And it goes up and you go higher, and it goes up and you go higher. That's how it is. What is he telling us in the letter? That such ascents and descents, he had thousands in an hour. You understand what we're talking about? In 1 hour. 400, right? Ascents and descents. We're not in that yet.
Meaning, the best recommendation to new students is to cleave to the group even more, to the 10, to the group they're building between them.
That's always, there's no argument here. This is always helpful.
You say the burning of the heart and advancement. What's the difference between advancing in this way to saying that the place of shattering is revealed, this place of separation and hatred is revealed, and you have to overcome it?
The same in the left line. This is called the hardening of the heart.
But there's a difference between having a feeling of rejection between the friends and...
No, it's the same. Except it appears in you in this way. The broken ego appears to you in this way. It can appear in other ways. Not that here is bad. It can appear in a way where there it's better. It's good. It's even worse. You're still weak. You don't receive such states. But you'll see what will happen. You'll start to feel suddenly, Suddenly someone comes to you. I don't know, someone, Moshe, comes to you, tells you, you know, there's a society, there's a company opening up there. We can make a ton of money. Let's do some business. What do we have here? Or Itzi comes to you and says, listen up, there's a place where you can enjoy life for real. Let's go and have a good time. You'll see. Will you begin to identify in those things the burdening of the heart? Think about it. There are more difficult things. For now, for the time being, we receive such hardenings. Why are we getting such? Because they, by themselves, in and of themselves, they are negative. So they help us relate to them negatively. But if it will come to the ego in a sweet way, you grow weak quickly. You can't do anything. You don't know what to do. Money, beastly pleasures, something, a trip somewhere, Bahamas. Everything before you. Look at your face, just like as you are now, you see? This is the kind of hardening, not them nor their reward, as they say. But for the time being, you would feel great. It's not simple.
But we're saying...
You see what they say? A woman comes, spoke with the men who worked for a few years, and pulled them out to something. Understand? These things, such a messenger. That's why there are so many warnings in the Torah to keep distance from a woman. Only in a way where, if you know how to use this and not subjugate except for what you must, only in this way. Otherwise, a man cannot overcome a woman. This is before us, ahead of us. Then we will learn about all those stories from the Torah, from the Bible, all those instances.
What does it mean to come out from the burden of the heart, to rise above it in a state where you're incapable of doing nothing?
It's only by the society.
Meaning?
We learn, and this way I recommend, don't start fighting, defending against the will to receive. I feel bad. I don't feel good in life. There's nothing. Why should I get up? I can't see any hope, any reality. What do I need to do in such a case? Either the world will get worse, and then, so here at least, this place gives a certain hope, reinforcement, a little, some taste in life, or I have to run away from here. A person makes a calculation. It's better here or better there. What do we need to do? We need to strengthen the importance of the goal. The Creator is doing it on purpose. Against every will to receive that He is raising in us, we have to raise the importance of the goal. to bestow through the group to him. Ultimately, the struggle is always around the will to bestow, Hasidim, to be above the will to receive. Imagine, specifically now, when you have gone through a certain descent, a certain hardening of the heart, how can you be above it? Explain to me. Ultimately, only if a person shuts his eyes and asks.
Where before is that if we will be officers and guards in the tent for each other, all the friends in the tent will be able to receive more states, more discernments, and advance. So, if we take a decision in the tent to create such a state where everyone is an officer and a guard of the other friends in the tent and create such a new environment, what should I, as an officer and guard, should be for the tent?
I identify a new lack of dependence. I still don't feel that attainment of the Creator depends on how much I'm connected with you, to you. I don't feel it. That's a problem, because if I could feel that inside the connection between us, I attain the Creator, this concept, this feeling that He is among us and between us, meaning that I generate with you, towards you, that state. It doesn't matter, it doesn't depend on you, it depends only on me. I connect to you such that I see you in such a way that in this emotional field towards you, I come to such a state where it is homogeneous, it's all bestowal, it's all outside of me, towards you. Until in it appears a force that is suddenly independent of me, that not I by myself generate and establish, rather it exists by itself. You know what? Have you ever you ever made some soap bubbles? So you blow it through a straw, let's say, and then it goes by itself. So that's how we need to inflate our attitude towards society until it suddenly, I can see that it exists by itself. The Creator begins to appear from within, but it is I who made it. I give birth to Him, seemingly. I discover Him. Of course, it's not. But that's how we discover it. I don't know what additional depictions to give, but this is the kind of feeling. You're working on it and working on it and working on it, and suddenly you discover that. Okay. Read.
Except number 3, Rabash, the whole of the Torah is one holy name. We must always consider the goal, which is to do good to his creations. If the evil inclination comes to a person and asks him all of Pharaoh's questions, he should not reply with lame excuses, but say, "Now with your questions I can begin with the work of bestowal." This means that we should not say about the questions of the evil inclination that it comes to us in order to lower us from our degree. On the contrary, now it is giving us a place to work, by which we will ascend on the degrees of wholeness. That is, any overcoming in the work is called walking in the work of the Creator, since each penny joins to a great amount. That is, all the times we overcome accumulate to a certain measure required to become a kli for the reception of the abundance. Overcoming means taking a part of a vessel of reception and adding it to the vessel of bestowal. It is like the masach, which we must put on the avyut. It follows that if one has no will to receive, one has nothing on which to place a masach. For this reason, when the evil inclination brings us foreign thoughts, this is the time to take these thoughts and raise them above reason. This is something one can do with everything one's soul desires. He should not say that now he has received rejection from the work. Rather, he should say that he was given thoughts and desires from above so as to have room to admit them into Kedusha, holiness. It therefore follows that it is to the contrary, because he is brought closer from above. He was sent the work. It was said about it, the ways of the Lord are straight, righteous walk in it, and transgressors fell in it.
They are giving us the hardening of the heart only so we would use it correctly, until another hardening, and another, until we reach such a degree from which begins the upper world. Yes,
Can you demonstrate the right usage of the hardening of the heart?
He's telling you, if he doesn't have a will to receive, he has nothing to make a screen on. That's why you have to increase his will to receive to such a height that he can, such a level that he can make a screen on it, place a screen on it. For the time being, we don't have such a will to receive. It's on the level of this world, and I seemingly place a screen on it. So I become prettier, a little better, more gentlemanly, more well-mannered, more educated. But I don't use the will to receive. I don't steal. I become more polite, and so on and so forth. It's still not spirituality. It's not in order to bestow. It's in order to, mutually create a better life. When do we go from that to in order to bestow? When the will to receive grows more and says, you shouldn't. Why should you bother? Up to a point, yeah, they think good about you and it's worthwhile. But from this moment on, even if they would think good about you, but the investment you have to make, you have to pay a great deal. It's not worthwhile. Or you know what? They're not going to think good about you. They're not even going to know about it. So it's better not to do those things. There are many things in life that we don't do because if others would know that I did it, I would have done it. I would receive payment, right? At least something pleasant, some honor, power, something, control. But if no one would know about it, what kind of gain will I have? Nothing. So consequently, I don't do anything. So when they begin to raise it to such a will to receive, where you can choose to do or not to do, and if you will do, no one will know, as if it will be as if you didn't do. So here you'll have a calculation with the Creator.
And the way to work with it, we're saying that it is to take it into the 10 somehow.
This is the safest, because there nothing disappears. Even our regular relationships, nevertheless, enter into spirituality.
And how do I take it without spoiling it for them?
It doesn't matter.
What does it mean it doesn't matter?
It doesn't matter. Anything, everything that happens in the 10, if you relate to it as the 10 that with which you want to reach the Creator and you want to discover Him in the 10, As much as you corrupt or correct, more or less everything enters correction.
If there is some great burden of the heart which I have received, on the one hand, I feel that I must have the help of the 10, but on the other hand, there's a fear that if I will open my mouth somehow, it will pollute them.
First of all, it's not a problem. Even if they identify it, that's one thing. And also, why do you need to do such work? When you have a hardening of the heart, you have to invest in the 10 as much as possible, and then as much as you can do it against the hardening of the heart, it will be as two lines. The left, the hardening of the heart, the right is as much as you invest, you already build the middle line, the beginning of the middle line.
ואני שוב אומר, מאוד חשוב שלכל אחד...
I'm saying again, each one should try to have a group that he teaches. Very important.
לא חובה, כי יש כאלה שהם כותבים, יש כאלה שמצלמים.
It's not a must. Those who write, there are those who shoot different clips, but participate in dissemination.
In such a state of darkness and remoteness, where you have to go and teach, what is your advice?
The advice, go and teach. What are you doing with your kids when you have no strength to get up and you're sick? What do you do then? Oh, let them die. Well, I'm sick today. Well, they can starve. Right? No, tell everyone that this is how it's happening.
With the kids, there is some convenient.
Nature obligates.
Okay, nature obligates, and they're used to see where the father is going through different states.
Okay, that's also nature obligates.
But with the students, and especially with new students, you can't afford it.
Even better.
So what is your advice?
Advice? With the students, with your kids, you can say, let me be, eat something, I'm sick, or get out of here, I'll beat you up, right? But with the students, you can say it. You're going to smile, you're going to have to try to be polite, so that you feel a little under the weather today, not a heartache, but a stomach ache. But for the time being, this is keeping you straight, in order. Leibovich.
About teaching and instructing, if it's a group of kids or teenagers, it also gives what you're saying. If I'm an instructor or a teacher of kids,
I don't think, but I just don't have an answer here.
I'm trying to understand in what exactly are we coming closer? Because when the burning of the heart comes, all disturbances, it is everything except for coming closer. You see that you're being distanced in all levels. So how do you come closer? As far as I'm concerned, is when they allow you to be closer, they give you more, but it is the opposite.
But if in such a state you come to the group and you try to do something for them, this is closeness, coming closer. Even mechanically, if you do it. You can't do it emotionally inside, but mechanically.
But how exactly does it bring you closer?
The exertion. Exertion brings you closer. You make room to overcome the egoistic desire that was now revealed from the shadowing, another layer. And that's how you advance.
If I look at the states I'm going through, then I'm amazed how people can come back again and again and again because the states become more and more extreme.
If we advance in this way, you know what will happen in the big Congress?
So how exactly are we coming closer here? I don't see that he allows me to invest more or to do more. To the contrary, he blows you up with the will to receive. You have to be in it whether you like it or not.
That's why, in the big Congress, I continue, we have to think how, in the final lessons of the Congress, you have 3 a day, right? In 3 days. So, lesson 8 and 9, let's say, we're already talking about the burdening of the heart and what we're doing, how are we coming out of it, how we rise above it, and in this way, with this correct baggage, or we're coming out of the Congress.
That I understand, but what I don't get in the process is the disturbances come in such a way that they really push you away. You can't invest more than you already do.
Don't tell me about it. It's not new to me.
Okay, so what do you do then?
You see, according to what I'm saying, that I understand a little bit about it. So what? You go through it. You can cry as much as you want, but you must go through it. You must overcome. You must go forward. This is nature. This is creation. If you dropped in here, perhaps it's possible that you deserve to advance like this here, with your eyes open, both in the good and in the bad. And there's nothing evil. Rather, they give you room for work. What's up with you? You're immersed in your emotions. I understand. Where is this side help? Where is the society? Where are the habits? Where is the obligation towards the students? Where is a bunch of different things? And also act. Act. That's it. Let's say, after the Congress, a burdening of the heart. Nice. We're having a meal. Songs, everyone sitting, crying, and singing. Beautiful songs. Happy songs. Where each one understands the state he's in and the state he has to be in. And that helps greatly.
There is a recognition, awareness of the process we're going through, but in what exactly are you coming closer?
When that will to receive that the Creator opened up for you, this new desire, with it, you want to work correctly. Meaning, although for now it is controlling you, you want to be inside the 10 and inside the Creator that is found in the 10. But you can't. But despite that, you want to put yourself there. This is inner convincing, outer convincing. You and the society. There's no choice. I'm telling you. You're in an excellent state. I don't want to tell you about it. You think only you are going through things in this way. You're going through it in a very light way. Yes, Gil.
You're talking about the Congress, and I want to say something. I know that not everyone knows or can teach, but about the Congress, everyone can take a part of it, starting now. And it is very uplifting. Every year we see that because this is a worldwide Congress, then everyone, just an example, in the second evening of the Congress, it's like Kabbalah for beginners. You can invite many people. You can start thinking who you're going to invite for that evening. The third evening is for the whole of Israel. You can start thinking who you're going to explain and excite the people around you. We have 2 months without any dissents now.
By the way, as much as you're in it, in the preparations and pulling people with you, this burden is divided by everyone, although they don't understand what is spiritual work. Because you begin to have this general and specific. You are the specific, they are the general, those you pull in and care for.
I'm asking if it is the right means to guarantee
100%.
our path.
For sure. And already from now, each one should see how much you can. And I don't want to say anything. You don't. It's not nice to say it about them, and I shouldn't. But just know that Maaser, tithing, is very important. It's a spiritual matter, and here it can be a serious stumbling block. Okay, we're almost the end.
You told Rui that despite the descent, a person has to, well, you want to put yourself there into the 10. We see that sometimes even a person who teaches in a campus is going through different states where he's been thrown away, and he doesn't know how to put himself into the 10 in such state. It doesn't necessarily hold him together. So the question is, what prevents a person from putting himself into the 10? How can the 10 help him put himself into the 10? Because you can see that he's on his way out and he cannot even resist it. All the duties, everything is that he does doesn't hold him together. So the question is if a 10 can help a person to put himself into the 10 and hold on to this anchor.
I can't tell you. I can't. Many times it happened to me that I had to speak to the women, to the wives of those friends, and it helped, you know, a little bit on the phone, a few words after the prayer on Shabbat, a few words that you say to a wife, and she pays attention to the man. The man changes like a little child. Pay attention to that.
טוב, יש לנו תל אביב.
What is the role of requesting the Creator in every exiting the descent into an ascent?
It's all raising of the man. You got this file, The Burning of the Heart? Well, read all of it. There are, and a few times, read it several times. Yesterday I took it and I wrote on Twitter, you know, this short excerpts. They translate them. I don't know if they translate them better or worse, but it's recommended to read about it there in even a shorter way. It sounds good on Twitter. Okay, because I write in Hebrew, in Russian. They translate to Hebrew. Tel Aviv is fine. What do we have left?
Central America.
Central America.
Central America.
Hola, Rab, ¿cómo está?
Hello, Rav. How are you? How can we demand from the Creator to hear our prayers so that the 10 will unite in the work? This is reality. Most of the 10 are not here with us. We're only 3 here in this lesson. How can we turn to the Creator so that all the 10 will be present here in this work?
It's a problem. I don't know. Can they do it when you're here together with us? I don't know. Although it's evening time for you, I don't know what to do. Try to speak to the friends here, with your friends there, all over Latin America, how to awaken people. But just understand It's not because people have grown tired of it or they lost interest. Rather, the will to receive, the Creator is growing it, is raising it, the egoistic will to receive. And instead of rising above it, we agree with it, and that's why we distance ourselves according to that will to receive. But it cannot not increase the will to receive, because that is the process of development and the evolution, and there's no choice, no way around it. So those who advance, those who drop out, they drop out, they become beasts, animals, and they continue this way. We have to try and prepare everything we can in order to strengthen them. You should pray and do as much as possible. Okay?
Salt Lake City.
Salt Lake City.
Hello, Rob. Hello, friends. Rob, you said...
No.
You said that we need to set some habits for ourselves. Would this be in relation to what you said about keep a busy schedule so we don't have a moment to think of ourselves?
No,
not to have a moment to ourselves is not good. We need to think of ourselves, but together with that, we need to arrange our schedule in such a way that we would be closer, or as close as possible, to the 10. And again, I'm telling you, pay attention to Maaser, the tithing. Like it or not, it holds you back. Very soon we'll come to a state where it will really prevent a person from advancing. It's a law. Spirituality has to depend on corporeality. We are connected in our common pot in order to use it for dissemination. Let's go to the next part.
Moving on to the next part of the lesson, but before we do, let's sing a song together.
נמצאים ענולים חזקים על אותם שערים שסותמים את הלב, כל הזמן מפרידים, כל הזמן מרחיקים ממי שאת הכל מסובב.
מדרגה, מדרגה, מחזיקים, מתגברים ודורשים את הכוח לחזור, ופתאום ענולים נעשים לפתחים והחושך הופך לו לאור. מעל המצבים החברים שומרים עליך באהבה, ביחד מעלים תפילת רבים, כולנו באותה כוונה. הולכים בייחוד הלבבות עד שמלאה הסאה, כל כדור וכדור שפוגע בלב מעורר ניצוצי אהבה, ועוד מאמץ בחיבור הנקודות מעלה מליבנו תפילה, ושוב מנעולים נעשים לפתחים ויזרמו נחלי אמונה. מעל המצבים החברים שומרים עליך באהבה, ויחד מעלים תפילת רבים, כולנו באותה כוונה. מעל המצבים החברים שומרים עליך רבים